were doing it, on my corner. The kids that I thought were cool. Because I had read in a lot of newspapers, about LSD law and about that. I wanted to try it too.
There's like toe freaks and ear freaks and leg freaks and blood freaks, Everyone's got their own little kink. What kind of freak are you, Sam?
Werewolf freaks are in this year.
I'm definitely a werewolf freak. I love Howling II every time I watch it, just a little bit better.
It's got the worst editing ever. It's like there's times near the end where I was literally incomprehensible where we were, what was going on. A midget's eyeballs blew up. A priest had a demon sleeping in his mouth.
There's so much about this movie that I love. That I was really into that puppet thing she had on her staff that came to life. I love that
puppet thing.
That was, was it supposed to be real the whole time?
I don't know. She's more of a witch than a werewolf too.
It looked like a rubber thing you would get at Spencer Gifts for Halloween, but then it definitely came to life because it killed the priest by sticking like this long tongue down his throat. You never knew what that thing could do, and then later on it popped out of the one guy's corpse and was eating him.
Yeah, and like she had that crazy cape that glowed all the colors.
Oh, her LED cloak was just stunning.
And I'm so glad she changed clothes because the leg flares on that one outfit makes her thighs look way bigger than they are. And she couldn't have been happy with that outfit. It's just not good.
Yeah, she probably didn't like anything they gave her to wear in this movie or not wear, as we saw. Yeah.
How many times did that happen in the credits? 17, you said?
I counted 17 actual rips of the bra or the blouse or whatever it was she was wearing. She ripped that off 17 times, but there was like a couple of extra shots of just post-ripping nudity. And there was one moment where they randomly left that in that time. Then they went back to repeating the same rip-off thing.
I like that they had an 808 and just one of the keys on the 808 was tied to the to her stripping off the clothes. It was like, and then it was every time. That's good editing, but yeah. And I did see more of the Jamie Lee thing. Yeah,
me too. I take it back because the thing is, she doesn't look like Jamie Lee Curtis in photos, but when she starts moving and talking, she really does kind of resemble her.
It'd be like I told you I'm dating this girl, Bill, and she looks like Jamie Lee Curtis, and you'd be like, and then you met her and be like, yeah, kind of, I guess, yeah, and you just made me feel better about myself. Also, she ran through that crowd covered with blood, and everybody was like, good thing we're having a carnival because no one paid attention.
I have to talk about that moment too because I just couldn't. It reminded me of that moment in The Bride where Robin Strasser comes down into the wedding party and she has blood all over her wedding dress all of a sudden.
The groom in The Bride is the dumb. He's like, can't you just wait a couple days? Like, just wait a couple days.
Now we're getting derailed, and I love it because I love The Bride.
I know. And you know what? And I love Red Brown too. I think you know anything about me? Yours, one of my favorite movies ever, and but he's violently not good in this movie. Wears a Canadian tuxedo, and he also has like I love the outfit that he wore to his sister's funeral. Lee brought up this is not the worst Christopher Lee movie. Bill and I brought up even worse ones. I think Uncle was a Vampire is actually pretty good. Coming out from Severn pretty soon, by the way. It's out now. I would say, Bill, what do we say? 1977 was probably the peak year for bad Christopher Lee with what End of the World.
That was definitely the bottom curve of his U because it was 1977. He was in End of the World, Meat Cleaver Massacre, which we all know he really wasn't in that movie, but he was.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty bad movie. So not unenjoyable.
What was the other one? Starship? What was the other one we said?
Starship Invasions.
Starship Invasions, yeah. They're all bad. Though, you know what? End of the World at least has like some clergy people getting destroyed in it, which is always fun. And you know what I mean? So like part of me is like, yeah, there's that. But it's not good either. I got it on at a Dollar General for $1, so it's and if anything, I overpaid. But yeah, it's not good.
Vince, nice of you to drop by. I didn't see you on the first segment. He says Reb and Sissy are wonderful people. I've heard that about Reb Brown. He gets rave reviews from fans.
Yeah, he's very nice. He sent me. We've talked on Facebook a few times. Very nice guy, and you know he's done really well for himself. He's in. You know his first movie is Bill, that TV movie that I was in the stage play of. What's that one with where she gets plastic surgery? The Girl Most Likely To.
Girl Most Likely To.
Yeah, I think that's his first appearance.
Stockard Channing, Tour de Force.
Yeah, he's in it for literally a second in it, but yeah, he's in that. But here's my theory of this movie, if we need one. I think that at some point in their centuries-long history, Christopher Lee's character and Sybil Danny's character used to fuck, right? And it just didn't go well. And they kind of like lost touch, but then now like you hear what she's doing, she's pretty crazy. He's like, I gotta fix this. And I think that's what I think the end will point to that, especially because at the end he penetrates her with a knife and stops everything.
Yeah.
And then fire comes out, right?
I think they were kind of like Bill Maher and Ann Coulter.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Frenemies. And you know,
she doesn't.
They had a relationship. Definitely, they were brother and sister, Sam.
Yeah,
and they were having a sexual relationship, and she alluded to the fact that they had done it before.
Yeah,
because she's like, "Oh, you never could resist me." Like at one point, there was a moment where that actually took place.
I had the feeling about it. It's like when you have two friends, like something happened with them at some point, and they're real weird around each other, and then like. Something just slips when they're drunk one night. And you're like, oh yeah, that's it. That's really what I felt this was. And then a lot of people had to pay. Do you know what I mean for their love? That poor small man, his eyes blew the fuck up. You know?
Oh my god, yeah, that was painful.
Yeah.
There was a Don't Look Now moment. Did you catch it?
No. What was that?
There's a whole scene where Christopher Lee chases a little person that he thinks is a child, and it's wearing the figure is wearing a mask, and he chases it into like a church or something, and it turns around and reveals itself to be the wrinkled corpse of his name was on the tip of my tongue, Vasil.
Yeah.
And
why did this need the little button at the end?
And it stabs him, just like the dwarf stabs Donald Sutherland in Don't Look Now. Anyway.
Spoiler warning for a 60-year-old movie. 50-year-old movie. Why did they come back to the apartment and have the trick-or-treat Halloween scene at the end? And the little... also, it taught me that the girl in this movie is really tiny because she climbed... Or that Reb Brown is a pretty large guy, but she climbs him like a tree at that point, which is... pretty wild. But like when that kid comes to the door and then they go to the priest and they said to the priest, could you overact this scene as badly as possible? And he's like, I am single. I do not have a child. I don't know why he's like a rabbi, but he's a Catholic priest. There's a lot going on. Nora, you
Yeah.
didn't waste 90 minutes of your life. This is the kind of stuff you got to watch.
Nora, there's going to be a cold night sometime, and you're going to be chilled to the bone, and then you're going to think of Howling 2, and it's going to warm you from the inside out. You wait and see.
I mean, this movie's got werewolf orgies. And you know what? Even if you're like, it was a waste of time, I don't think so. I think there was there's punk rockers getting killed by werewolves. And like, why does that guy try to get back in the building? Like, you already know they're in the building. Get the fuck out of the building. And they're like, hey, is this a set from 1990, The Bronx Warriors? No, it's somewhere else in Czechoslovakia. But it looks like it. The band should go to jail. They know that they're dealing with werewolves all the time. They exclusively play werewolf clubs. They play LA and in whatever country this is. And like,
they flew them there in the same clothes, I might add, and with the
that would
same
have been my
set.
ending. They're on the plane and they cut to the front, and that band's on the plane, and the guy brings up the drum. He's like, and then they just start dancing on the plane. Wow, so this got ranked amongst the Child and Damnation Alley? I don't know.
Oh, Nora. I couldn't agree less.
No.
But that's okay. I definitely understand why anyone hates Howling 2, because like I said, probably like the first couple times I saw this, I was like, what a piece of shit. I don't know. Then I started to look at it differently. I'm like, it's not meant to be taken seriously. That it was definitely a spoof, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It's funny too, because it's like there's parts of it where they're like, yeah, they're trying to be serious, and other parts they aren't. It doesn't have any set tone. It's just
it's played straight, but there's so much humor in it, things that are obviously meant to be funny. So
yeah, and then they're like, let's pad the end of this out, which is nudity, and you know what? Good. I mean, you did it.
How could anyone other than Sybil Danning have a problem with that? There was one thing interesting about this movie. The guy who wrote the original novel that The Howling was based on, Gary Brandner, he hated the first Howling.
Yeah.
He was one of the people that hated it. Yeah, and then he wrote the script for this, and they ended up he has a novel that's called Howling II. And it's not the plot of this film either, because I've read that book. It's sort of like a sequel to the original Howling, which was nothing like the Howling that ended up in the movie. And I'm sure that's why.
My favorite part of this is I think Mike said they refilmed the end of Howling 1 on like a card table with like it's like the cheesiest revision of it, and then it's like it's so bad. Oh, it's great.
Think of how awesome this would. There has to be a fan edit made of Howling 2 where they use footage from the end of the first one instead of the reenacted.
I'm going to make one that combines them into one movie, so you can just get the whole narrative story.
A supercut like that Halloween and Halloween 2.
Yeah,
supercut. I never got one of those.
I have it, and I've watched it. I have a Halloween 456 supercut too. How many copies of Halloween in this house? All the copies. I have thought about this movie in real life because I went to an OTO party, which is Aleister Crowley's lodge, and everyone was outside like screaming at the moon and howling at the moon. And I thought, do I really? And a girl did lure me to this party. This is pre-marriage, and part of me was like, do I really want to be here? Because this could turn into a Howling 2 situation. And I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Who cares, right? It was really boring. You would think going to devil worshiper parties are, could be great. You would think they're going to be awesome, and they're just as boring as going to like church parties.
It couldn't be any good, because anybody that would do something like that is already a douchebag.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's the same thing.
I don't want to sound judgy.
No, but like when you go to like a church party and everybody just wants to talk about church, it's the same thing. Yes. It's just a different church. And then they all just sat in a room eating guacamole, watching Debbie Harry bootlegs. And I was like, do you guys have any drugs? Like, I thought that there would be drugs. And they ate a lot of blue lobster, like blue crab, like in a can. And I was like, that's going to make you sick. The girl's really hot, but whatever. She also had an autistic brother that she brought to the party that wanted to talk to me about helicopters. It was a real fucking weird party. But anyway, I digress.
I don't think Marcia and Mick weren't together for very long. She didn't have long relationships.
I mean, long enough to have a baby.
I guess. I mean, it had to have been at least a year or so, but in
Nora's
Rockstar
comment. I
terms.
love you, Nora, but that comment, this entire story could have been told in 30 minutes tops. That's every movie we've ever seen.
Yeah,
I
truthfully, and
mean,
that's actually my biggest real complaint about Howling 2. It's not that I think it is a little overlong, but it's padded in weird
yeah.
places. Like it doesn't go for it. It doesn't just go for it and tell the story the way it wants to tell the story
Yeah.
in a serial comic way. Instead, it keeps cutting back. Like there was one point where Christopher Lee was talking about Marsha Hunt. Mariana is her name. He's
Yeah.
like, she's a deadly werewolf. And then the movie couldn't leave it well enough alone. It inserted this jump cut of Mariana as a werewolf that we've already seen 4 times in the movie already. And like, we didn't need that in there. It was enough for them to mention her. Yet, like, yeah, we got it. She turned into a dumb looking Planet of the Apes werewolf for half a second. But
It's like, we get it. There were like, or get what they should have done was structure it like, why are all these weird people coming around? And Red Brown's character doesn't believe they're werewolves until there's a moment near the end where he realizes, yes, they are werewolves, which is kind of what happens in the original Howling. So just follow the fucking template, right? Where everybody's like, no, they're just killers. No, they're really werewolves. But then you tease it.
Right on, Jim. It's the same story, just they changed the names.
Yeah.
Um,
it's just I don't know, whatever. I was entertained, and like, things don't have to be good to entertain you. I think that's my lesson for you tonight. But you know what? Sybil Danning, honestly, is it the worst Sybil Danning movie? Not when Panther Squad exists. There's a lot worse Sybil Danning movies. There's a lot of better ones too. So
she looks like she's having fun in this movie. I don't know if that's true or not, but she
could have. They really could have done better with her hair. I think, like in the costuming, her hair
was stunning, Sam. We're having a Siskel and Ebert moment about her hair because
that looks crunchy. It just looks.
Her hair, she definitely, Stirba had a full makeup and hair staff on hand in that castle somewhere, because there's no way she would look that good. Did you see her nails? I mean, like, who does her nails? Does that just happen magically?
Yeah.
And you're right. You mentioned earlier about how she's more of a witch than a werewolf. And that was another problem I had with this movie when I first saw it.
This movie feels like a D&D campaign where like the dungeon master's like, she's a witch now. And you're like, wait, no, this doesn't make any fucking sense. You know? It's just like, you know what, we got to change. You guys are sick of werewolves? Fine, she's a witch now. And we lost Bill.
It wouldn't be a show if Homer didn't pop out for half.
But you know what? On the other hand, this movie has 2 moments that I love because, as Bill knows from watching movies with me, anytime somebody says the name of the movie within the movie, you have to react like Pee-wee's secret word. You have to go nuts. And 2 different times within 5 minutes, someone says, your sister is a werewolf. And like, not was a werewolf, is a werewolf because she's still alive until they kill her later.
You brought up
who won this movie? D. Wallace Stone won this movie by not being in it. She was like, you know what? And she's been in some really shitty movies too. So, you know, and they're like, do you want to be in this? And she's like, what, do I just lay in a coffin for 10 minutes and then I get shot in the coffin? No, I'm fine. You know, could my husband
do you think they even asked her to be in it?
They asked her husband, they didn't ask her. I don't know if that's true or not.
Poor Christopher Stone, R.I.P.
Christopher Stone from the same town. Oh, this is a big tease. From the same town. This will take a lot of research, so I can do this one. From the same town as a movie that Bill and I did a commentary track for that might have a lot to do with this movie. End of spoilers. So that's another one that's coming up. That else for this week. I got hired to write the liner notes, and the liner notes are pretty much me making fun of the movie for 1,000 words. So by writing the liner notes and doing the commentary, Bill and I's contribution to this movie has cost more than the budget of the movie that we did the commentary for, which I'm really proud of. We earned $125 more than the budget of the movie that we did the commentary for. So it's pretty exciting.
It's a big idea to get used to.
It really is. I think I love it. Yeah, I think Reb really shoots a lot of stuff in this. Yeah, Nora, Fanboy 13 is horrible. It's a great idea, but it's like, you know, it's a movie where someone who is not Jason is stalking the people that were in Friday the 13th movies, but they have to like copyright wise not say they're in Friday the 13th movies. It's a great idea, but it doesn't work. But
It doesn't.
it kind of does, but not all the way. It's not, you know.
That
It's
thing
like
that
modern slashers. I was telling Bill about a modern slasher earlier, which I'll get into, I'm sure, in a bit.
Stirba
like-
kept doing this thing
Oh.
with her hand throughout the whole movie.
She was doing that to that thing that was up here, and she was like, "You are a bat."
She brought it to life with those hand movements.
Yeah. Vince brings up Street Hunter with Steve James. There's no bad Steve James movie, by the way. So Steve James is an actor that when he shows up in a movie, I get like super like he's in Times Square for 10 seconds, and anytime he shows up in a movie,
When was he in Times Square?
He's in Times Square for like a second. He's like in one of the street scenes. He's like barely in it. Steve James.
Wow.
Not Red Brown. Yeah. I was just talking about it with Austin when he came in for lunch, and we were talking about weird times Steve James shows up in movies. And the other thing we talked about, I'm sure he'll talk about this when he's on the show, is the movie Avenging Force that Steve James is in. It was going to be a Chuck Norris movie, and there's a long scene where a politician gives like an anti-black speech. It's like very like beyond fascist speech. And like Chuck Norris is like, well, I don't really see a problem with his speech. So he wasn't in the movie. They got Michael Dudikoff to be in it instead. Blood Beach, Bill and I have talked about numerous times. And I think if Blood Beach is just missing some certain thing, like though Bill does remember, what you remember seeing. Has anyone ever seen the creature? Would maybe be better. But Mariana Hill's in it, so I love it. How about that? And John Saxon.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. It definitely could have used a little bit more of the creature, and the ending is so absurd. Just because when we finally get a look at it and you see it, and you're like, oh, they're gonna have to fight it. Something's gonna happen. But no, instead of fighting it, Burt Young just walks outside of a trailer and presses the TNT plunger, and boom, he blows it up.
And he's like, I'm off to have anal sex with Root and Aldi.
As Mariana described the monster, Mariana described the monster in Blood Beach as a vacuum cleaner, and she's not wrong.
I need an extended love scene between her and John Saxon for my world to be right. Oh, I said that Naked HD just came.
A love scene.
Like, did you mention Mariana Hill and John Saxon in a love scene?
Is that
Maybe
all it takes? Sex spots?
Yeah.
How dare you invade our chat?
How dare you?
Naked.
But anyway, you know what? I like this movie. I feel about this movie like when you have like a cousin who's like, you know, he's really dumb, but you love him because he's your cousin, and you like defend him to people. That's how I feel about this movie. Like he's a good kid. Like, yeah, but you know, he showed up to school and he pooped on himself. You know what? He's a good kid. I love him, and you defend him. That's how I feel about Howling II. So,
yeah,
that's my review.
Howling II. It's not a good movie, but it's enjoyable. So
it's not a good movie, but it's a great movie.
That's not a bad.
That's how
movie,
I always say about him. Like it's got that band plays the same song numerous times. Would it be better if the band played other songs? No, because I like it. It's because in the same way, would Night Train to Terror be better if it had more than one song on the train? No, that's the reason why it fucking works, because it's nonstop. And also Freddie Main in both those movies, he's the uniting force.
I really love that track. I listen to it all the time. It's in several playlists. It's how there's like only, I don't know if you're the same way. I still listen to my music on an iPod.
Oh yeah, I have it on my phone, but I listen to it when I'm walking. So.
And I always tell myself I have to sit down and make some new playlists, but I don't, and I end up listening to the same playlists over and over.
Too. I have one that's just like all like the theme from Tenebrae, the theme from Eyeball. It's like all the same themes. And I walk around my neighborhood and people wave and I smile and wave to them. Meanwhile, I'm listening to like music to knife people to.
Eyeball will grab you.
There was like 5 different Eyeball posters for sale at the convention. And I was like, do I fucking need these? And part of me was like, yeah, I really do. And there was also Bill, literally a full size, like door size midnight poster for $30. I have no room for it. And it's the one that has what's his name, like dead center, like the cop, the old man. And I was like, fuck, I want this poster so bad, but I didn't get it.
I will never forgive Eyeball for not being about a giant eyeball that grabs people.
Yeah.
That's the way they depicted it in the ad campaign. And as a kid, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I have to see that movie about the giant eyeball. No.
Yeah.
It was a Jalo.
Jalo. Hey, next week's movies, we should tell everybody next week's movies.
Yeah. Well, you go ahead. We didn't. I hyped Blood Freak. That's not next week. It's going to be coming up shortly. We'll announce a special guest.
One requested movie and one non-requested movie. Becca has picked the first movie, and we found a streaming copy of it. It's going to be Winter Beast. If anyone's ever seen it, holy fucking shit! This movie. It is not about winter at all, and it's got. I can't wait to watch this with Bill because it has a moment in this movie that blew my fucking mind. Like it really shut my whole brain down and I couldn't believe it was happening. So I'm so excited for him to see it because when he gets to it, he's going to be like, what am I watching? So Winter Beast is the first one. And the second one, Bill, is
I Don't Want to Be Born.
Yeah.
AKA The Devil Within Her.
Yeah. So I think
that's Joan Collins.
Poor Joan Collins. And I think if you didn't like Howling II, you're not gonna like either one of these movies either. Like Winter Beast is as junky as it gets. It's got a giant chicken in it, one part of it. It's about a totem pole. It's about politics in a town. It's about a gift shop. It's about a bunch of friends. It's characters disappear, reappear. It was made over an 8-year period. So people's hair and facial hair changes throughout the movie, depending. Also, film stock does too.
It's a good thing that we're doing a movie that has a giant chicken in it because then next week, the week after that, we're going to do a movie about a giant turkey monster.
Exactly. Yeah, and I Don't Want to Be Born has Hercules, the little person in it who is upset.
Yes,
and it also has a nun getting destroyed by a possessed child. So very, very excited about both those movies. These are the kind of movies that I sometimes when I'm sad at work, like I don't want to work anymore, I sit and I think, but that movie where Joan Collins is in that movie, I get really sometimes I think about Beyond the Door when I'm really down and I say, how did this happen? How did Beyond the Door get made? And why is it so great? And like that really gets me through the day.
Yeah.
This Winter Beast is the only movie I got this week. I bought this this weekend. And I was shocked that they had, because this comes in a triple set. They had it by itself, and I was like, well, Becca said, you really should buy that because I love it. And she rarely likes the same movies as me, and she really likes this movie. And she said, please, while it's still streaming, it's on Vimeo. She's like, while it's still out there, and it's on Shudder right now. She's like, please get it because I really want to watch it with Bill because he's really good at like it. She's like, it's just so stupid, and I just am excited. So, yeah. I'm excited. I am excited to watch it.
You certainly talked it up and got my interest.
And I told you too, it's like I couldn't talk it up anymore. Like it's almost like the only other movie that I want to show more is Dawn of the Mummy, and I don't think there's a streaming one of it. Is that the one?
I think there is. I think it is on YouTube somewhere. So yeah, we should definitely do Dawn of the Mummy soon. I've been doing a London series on the Groovy Doom Facebook page. So since we don't have a second ad gallery, I pulled out a couple interesting ones that have been lately on the page. And this one, I think it ran already. These are very recent. So I may be showing stuff that hasn't even posted yet.
Oh, wow.
But here's an alternate ad campaign for the Gorgon and the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, which of course, play the states together as well, but the ad campaign was totally different. And I think it's really, I love the Gorgon. I do.
I do too. I really like it. It's like one of those classic monster hammers that are really good.
Yeah, and it has it has a gorgeous little village in it.
Yeah.
And there's this strange topography, and you're like, why is there a house? This little crooked alleyway runs up a hillside, and there are several houses there too. How did these houses get built there?
I think about that Don't Torture a Duckling. It feels like those houses in that Italian hillside are like falling off the hill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and then a wood dummy falls off the hill.
It couldn't be safe to live there.
Yeah.
But the Gorgon is one of them, and also this one, which I know you are going to love.
Oh,
Tomb of Lygia.
I love that movie.
Black Sabbath.
Oh my god!
And look at that gorgeous ad too.
What a time to be alive! I really like Tomb of Lygia because it's a modern Corman Poe movie, and it's just it has such a weird air to it. And I really like it, and obviously, well, Black Sabbath. How can you go wrong? I mean, it's. I actually posted on the site this week a Mexican version of Black Sunday, which is really wild.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, that's right up your alley. A Mexican movie.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was like, right in the beginning, it's like it combines La Llorona, the crying woman, with Black Sunday, and the witch comes out of the woods with 3 dogs, and literally a dog mauls a woman to death. But it's shot just like the beginning of Black Sunday, and I was like, motherfucker! Wow, this ad is magical.
Very interesting that the movie Dead Ringer, starring Bette Davis, was retitled Dead Image in the UK because probably there wasn't as much context for the phrase Dead Ringer.
Yeah.
Someone commented on, I forget who commented, but somebody said that it never used to be a thing in the UK to say that, but now it is.
After Cronenberg.
It is infiltrated. The British. The British lingo, so now they would get it. But back then they changed the title to Dead Image.
Yeah.
Here's another movie. This is really curious. I don't know anything about these 2 films.
Oh, wow.
The Curse in the Coffin or Experiment in Evil.
Huh.
And let's not even talk about nudes, and it's a bare world. Naughty.
Yeah.
The British rating system was really reactionary. It was very reactionary.
Well, I don't know anything about either one of these. Wow.
But anyway, I thought the ad was really interesting. That's why I love doing this page, because I learned so much about these films, the way they were marketed, and just the different, that the alternate titles really get me excited. So that's what keeps me doing this. I've been doing it for a really long time now.
Yeah. Some would say one of the originals of doing it.
Some would say. It's not really true, but I'll let people think that. Starts Today, curated by our friend Lana Revick, was really one of the first, and also Cinema du Meep.
Yeah.
Michael used to share a lot of ads the same way. I think his Facebook page is where he did it. Yep. So that was, those folks were out there. And also a guy named Don that I know does vintage newspaper ads. It's a page on Facebook. Oh, I know I'm not getting the title right. Sorry, Don. Vintage newspaper advertising might be it. But he shared a lot of ads too. Here's something else that I found that I loved.
Oh, God damn it. That's amazing.
That Kiss of the Vampire artwork is just gorgeous. Look at the texture of those bats.
Oh.
It's art appreciation, okay? This is important. What's Paranoiac? Can you describe Paranoiac to me?
I haven't seen that one actually.
I haven't either, or else, at least I don't think I did.
It has Oliver Reed in it. I know that, so I'm like, wow, I gotta hunt that down.
Oh yeah, then I probably definitely didn't see it if it's an Oliver Reed film, because I'd remember that. Here's something interesting too. I found this. This is from the early '60s, a screening of Todd Browning's Freaks.
Oh, I saw that you posted this. Yeah, and you're like, well, I wonder what how much was cut out. That's probably after it got bought out.
Yeah, yeah, it's got to be a severely edited print because the UK demanded cuts on almost everything.
So, speaking of Oliver Reed, I watched Venom this week. That movie's fucking nuts. I loved it.
Oh, the one with Klaus Kinski as well.
Yeah, and like he and Klaus Kinski going at it. It's good. It's a weird movie. I watched multiple movies named Venom. They're all very strange. So yeah,
Vince recommends Paranoia.
I'm gonna check it out. Yeah. Can I this week on my site?
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow. All Animal Attack stuff all week, and then I'm finishing the Chattanooga Film Fest I'll be doing it till Wednesday, I think. Man, there's I saw a lot of really great movies this week at Chattanooga, Bill, that I can recommend.
Such as?
Let me get my list up. The one is called Dawn Breaks Behind the Eyes. I think it's on Shudder next month, but it is the director is really into Jean Rollin and The Whip and the Body are his two biggest influences on the movie. So it's about this couple moves into this house and takes over this old castle, and the house like takes over their lives. But it's because the house is like never ending inside, but it's beautifully shot. It really looks like a 70s Euro horror more than a modern movie, and you know how much,
Yes.
I mean, that's going to go a long way, right? The other movie that I really dug, there's two of them. The one's called The Third Saturday in October 5, and there's Third Saturday in October 1. And they're both slashers. And basically 5 comes out first. And it is the 5th version of a movie that wasn't made. And it looks like a 90s Miramax slasher, Dimension film slasher. It's really good. And it has padding of like flashbacks to the other movies that weren't made. They just made stuff that looked like other movies that fit into it. And it's also a college football slasher, which makes no sense, but it totally works. I really dug that. Guts, which is a short that is literally the most disgusting movie I've seen.
Yeah, that's a high recommendation.
Yeah, it's a movie where this guy literally has his guts on the outside of his body, and the girl that he's in love with at work won't fall in love with him because she can see his guts. So at the end of the movie, he literally anthropophagus his own guts. It's disgusting. I loved it. Cryo's pretty good, Bill. I think you would really dig it. It's a student film that got picked up by Saban Films and is actually playing in theaters. But it's about it's kind of like Event Horizon in a way. It's about 5 scientists that are part of a sleep chamber experiment. They wake up, they don't know where they're at, how long they've been sleeping, and why they've been woken. And one of them's a killer, and they find a bloody knife and don't know why. And they all have amnesia from being in this centuries-long cryo sleep, and the idea that maybe they've been here before. It's pretty cool. A little long, but pretty well put together. Let me see what else. I'm going through my list of them. Chicken House was really good too. It's a movie about 3 actresses that live in a house together, and a new roommate comes who they think is possessed, and she kind of fixes their lives even though she might be possessed. And there's also a poltergeist that lives in their house who's a stand-up comedian. It's really weird, really, really fun. I dug that a lot. The Leech is really good. And I think you would love this movie, Bill, because I talked to the director last night, and his movies that he based it on were Death Game and Black Christmas. It's about a priest who decides to take in a couple who has no money over the holidays, and they ruin his life with drugs and sex. And the priest goes nuts. It's really good. There's only 4 actors in it, and it's really intense. And it's good because it's one of the few movies I've seen that really mixes horror and without being like super. There are supernatural moments, but they're more just about the psychosis of the characters. It's really good. Arrow just bought that, and they're going to be recording the commentary track this week. And the other Pure Place, which is really good. It's about a Greek island where people make soap beneath the island, and the goal is to ascend in this weird religious world to be clean from making soap to using soap. It's really weird. And then the last movie,
Scientology.
very Scientology. And then the last movie I really dug, Tony Todd's in it. It's called Bitch Ass. And it's very much like Bones and Urban Slasher. It's about a serial killer who lives in this neighborhood, and he kills people by forcing them to play board games with him. And the ones that a giant Connect 4 game that chops people into bits. And then he plays Operation with someone. So it's like a board game based serial killer, but very much like Tales from the Hood, Bones, like that kind of era of those movies. And those are all shouted out in the beginning of it. And it's really good. I would honestly assume that they're probably going to make 10 of this movie. It's really fun. And I think you would dig it. It moves really well. I'm watching a bunch more stuff probably tonight and tomorrow up until Wednesday. But Chattanooga has been a really fun festival. There's half off tickets for sale now too. I think it's $79 for 90 movies, which is wild. Like it's a really good price, but it's been a really well run, pretty great fest. And then the rest of this week is Animal Attacks. And then the next week after is Weird Superheroes because Thor's coming out. And then Jose Larraz movies, which is coming up as well, which Black Candles is a movie I've been waiting to get to and I haven't yet. And I'm super, super excited about that. Whirlpool. His movies really fit into, I really think sometimes when you see a director, like he makes movies that Sam likes, like he would be an example of a director that does, right? And then I know the end of July is Arnold Schwarzenegger, all his movies. And then Canon movies start again in August, a lot of Canon. And speaking of Canon, Austin will be on the show, July 19th, right?
16th, I believe.
Yeah. He's going to be on.
The dates are kind of fuzzy. They're way off in the distance, and I don't have my calendar here.
Yeah, but he's going to be on, and we talked about what films he's picking. The Canon Film Guide 2 is wild stuff in it. Bill, the third one he's working on now is literally all the movies that Canon didn't make, and he has ads. He got in the mail this week the Canon Guide from '86. It has 2,500 movies in it. Of those movies, probably 500 of them are real. It's like a lot of fake ads, and it's all the one sheets for movies that never came out. It's really awesome.
You mean like They're Coming to Get You?
Yeah, and he has all that stuff in his house. I'm sure he'll show us on the show like some of this stuff, like the Tobe Hooper's Pinocchio in Space with Lee Marvin as Geppetto, which is going to be pretty wild. So yeah, it's gonna be good. But
Lords of Acid.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in a long time. I've never actually just gone to see Lords of Acid. I've only ever seen them perform when they've been touring with Thrill Kill Cult.
Same here, yeah.
The last time they were here in Pittsburgh, I got to meet Praga Khan.
Oh, wow.
He was really nice. I had this devil shirt that I wore. It was like a joke, a devil on the deck of a cards, like a Joker or something. And it said something about gambling. And he saw it. He was like, "Oh, I really like that shirt." He has a very strange accent. He was super nice.
And then my goal this week is to see the Black Phone in the theater.
Oh yeah,
I've heard really great things about it, so I'm trying not to read any spoilers. But I'm very excited.
I read the whole plot online. I thought this movie had already come and gone.
Yeah, I'm excited about it though, because like it's nice to have like a Thomas Savini did some of the masks and effects for it too.
Ooh, someone noticed my Dead or Alive t-shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you. Here's something that I thought was really interesting. A new book that's coming out, or it's out already. I think you can order it on Amazon. Yeah. Maryland Movie Monster Memories.
I'm so excited about this book.
Yeah, they talk about Ghost Host in it, which is amazing because how much I love Ghost Host, even though I didn't really realize at the time that Ghost Host was from Baltimore, and there were totally different movies on the Ghost Host program in Baltimore because it was a different syndicated station that had a different package of movies they could show. But anyway, I guess the segment on Ghost Host gets very in depth, and there's a document of every movie that Ghost Host ever showed with accompanying reviews. So that's a labor of love for sure. Maryland Movie Monster Memories. You can order it on Amazon.
There's a really great. By the way, Mihawk Cinema says Sushi and the Banshees were offered a cameo role in Howling II. There's a sushi shirt that shows up very briefly in one of at the bar scene. I saw someone wearing a shirt of her. That's amazing.
They were in that Anthony Michael Hall movie, weren't they? Singing Cities in Dust. I think it was Out of Bounds, the movie was called.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
At the convention, the other thing I saw, Bill, and they were $30, and I was like, but someone had fake pumpkins that were, like the rubber pumpkins or whatever they are, like that material that you can carve, the fake ones.
Mm-hmm.
They light up from the inside. They had a Chili Billy one with his face on it, and I was like, they probably need that, and I didn't get it. I stood in front of one booth. I debated so many movies to buy at one point, and then I was like, you know what, like everything was kind of over. Like most of the Blu-rays were like $40. They had the new Vinegar Syndrome, the one that sold out of Thriller. It was $110 already, and I was like, ugh. So I didn't, it was either that or buy that $300 Blob, and I think I made the right call.
You're kicking yourself. No, you really wish you bought that piece of the Blob, don't you?
But I would want to eat it, though. I think. Do you know what I mean? Like I would make or snort it. You know what I mean? Like if you could snort, that's the movie. The Blob lands, and people find out the Blob makes you high but kills you, and people want to snort it. Let's put this into production.
And then brains can become the Blob, maybe.
Exactly. Though, you know what? I always wonder at shows. I know it costs a lot of money to get a table, right? And people continually have tables that are like, it's like a yard sale. Do you know what I mean? Like, why did you spend all the money to have a table? You don't really have anything to sell.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. There's really nothing that they're pushing.
Yeah, and it's just like the weirdest
shit.
Yeah, it's like they just found a bunch of shit in their library. There was one person, Bill, that had a lot of horror novelizations, but they were really beat up and way too expensive. But I looked through them, but nothing I think you would be too into, other than you don't want the novelization of Meteor, I don't think. Again,
I think I have it. I think I do have the novelization of Meteor.
I know that you and I both definitely played the Meteor pinball machine at the drive-in.
I don't remember. I guess we did.
They had it at Riverside for the longest time. There is also the guys that do the convention in South Hills, Horror Realm, are doing another horror movie flea market pretty soon too. I think it's next month. But that's a nice event that they do because it's free to get in and a lot of vendors but that one is very much like very yard saley. But there's cool stuff. Also, probably I think next week or the week after, we'll be ready. We're gonna start doing the movies from downstairs, and Becca bought a lot of horror movie pillows. We have a Howling III pillow down there now, Bill. It's just a TV with a thing and a Welcome to Santa Mira pillow, which is pretty awesome, and a Crystal Lake sign. So it's pretty good.
That's amazing. She should go make her own on Shutterfly whenever they have a pillow sale next time.
Oh, they do pillows on there too?
Yeah, that's how I made these pillows. I made a whole bunch of pillows on Shutterfly. Here's my Don't Look in the Basement. This is like the one with the main ad, but I've also got two matching ones. The other, it's too far away for me to grab, but it's the one with Rosie on it, and this one has the judge.
Okay, we'll have to make some more pillows.
I made a black room pillow too, but I think I showed you that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So yeah, you could really waste a lot of money on there, like I did.
You can. We need to get a booth where we just sell pillows, and people there'll be at least one person. Will there be one person? It's like, you guys have black room merch? Yeah, we do. And that would be us. We would be that person.
Anything you want to say before we go?
I was so excited to do the show this week, and I'm so happy everybody came and enjoyed this movie, whether or not you liked it or didn't like it. I had a great time talking about it with you guys. I'm going to watch the rest of the stuff for. I'm going to get back in Chattanooga Film Fest and finish up stuff after this.
I gotta go to bed. I gotta work tomorrow, actually. So it's
yeah. I
lights out.
literally watched. Today was a dream day. I started watching movies at like 9:30, and I even watched movies in the pool today. That's while I cleaned the pool. I watched movies. I was cleaning the house. I had a movie running here.
So that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. It was a really good day. Becca said we got to set up a pool episode before the end of the year. So
we always say that and we never do it.
We'll show monster fish or devilfish.
Devilfish. Oh, I'll be there for Monster Shark.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
And hopefully you'll be back next week with us on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. That's next Saturday night. We'll be doing Winter Beast and I Don't Want to Be Born, a.k.a. The Devil Within Her. Poor Joan Collins. Just wait till you see what all happens to her then. It gets pretty scary.
Super scary.
We'll see you then. Be safe, be well. Come back to us next weekend. And see ya.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.